Hi everyone. So today I thought I'd do a video on lavender cuttings, and it would be hardwood cuttings at the moment. We've gone past spring where we would be doing softwood cuttings. So today it will be hardwood cuttings. I did take some softwood cuttings and I will show you those, and also I'll be planting those up. So it'll be a little bit of both today. So if you're interested in that, I haven't done much hardwood cuttings in the past, so it's a good experience for me as well. So come along and see how I'm going to do it and how I'm going to get on. I've got everything ready for collecting my cuttings and potting them on. I've got my secateurs, I've got my water to put them in. Now, instead of putting them in water, you could put them in a plastic bag. Make sure that there's no perspiration or as little perspiration as possible. So that's what I would do. I've also got my potting compost ready. So this is my own compost. This is New Horizon peat-free compost. And then I've got an awful lot of grit. You can't, I don't think, have enough grit when you're potting on. So we'll have a little look at the lavender and see what we're going to be doing with it. I'll just collect my secateurs and water so that we're all ready to go, and we will walk down as long as my phone decides to do as it's told instead of doing what it wants to do. I promise to show you actually what I'm doing today, unlike sometimes when I get carried away and forget that you need to actually see what I'm doing. Look at this dahlia, isn't it beautiful? My turnips are all still coming on, and I've got some beetroot there. I did plant some sunflowers here, but my husband got a little bit carried away with the lawnmower and cut them all off. So here we are. Here is the lavender. This started as one bush or one very small plant last year. I took cuttings and have made those. So now I'll show you how I'm going to take the cuttings today. So here's my plant. This one is looking a bit not well, so I'm not going to take it from that one. I think maybe it's dried out. So I'm going to look to see where I can grab part from the bottom and just pull it away like that. Okay, so I've got that one. Let's see if we can find some smaller ones. I'll put that in the water. I only wanted some smaller ones, but it looks like they're all pretty. Here's one. So I'll follow that down. That one's no good. Let's have a look. See, hopefully you can see as much as I can see. I'm just trying to find ones that are a little bit smaller, but it's all quite a huge plant at the moment. So I've just pulled that off there, just pulled it away from the stem and popped it in the water. Let's see if we can find some others. So if you can see, let me just check. So down here is the main part of the branch coming off of the plant there. So what I'm doing is I'm taking them off of there and then putting them in the water. Let's have a look over this side. I can find that's a little bit smaller. There's one there. So just find the bottom, pull it away. Just do one more because I don't need to do too many because I've already got quite a lot of plants that I've taken. Just trying to find another smallish one. No, they're all pretty huge. So just take this one, pull it up. There we are. Sorry about the shadow. Now we'll go up. So I've got my compost here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my gloves to give it a good old stir in. Some of it's quite wet, so even though I'd covered my compost up, well, you have still had quite a bit of rain recently, so I suppose it doesn't really matter because I've got others to do afterwards. Right, so I'm just going to, I have sieved mine, but the compost that I took out from the bought compost hasn't been sieved, so as you can see there's still worms in there and everything wriggling and jiggling. No, that was looking a bit funny. Maybe I might cut him in half or something. Right, so that's that. Then I'm going to mix most of this in, but I'm going to keep some back. So I think the saying is with lavender cuttings, you can never have enough. It was probably about a third each of it. You could probably get away with a bit more grit, but I think that that'll be fine. So that's that. We'll get our pot ready. I don't know what size that is, about a 6 centimetre, 6 to 10 centimetre pot, I would imagine. So that's ready now. Get the other one ready at the same time. I could have put some grit down the bottom, which I would often do, but I'm running a little bit low at the moment, so I don't want to use it all up. Right, that's that done. Now I need to find my pencil just to pop in to be able to put the cuttings in. As always, when you go and look for something, it's not there, so I found a bit of willow that I'll use instead just to make my holes, and it's just a matter of making holes around the edge. That's the best place to make for the cuttings. I do have my secateurs now, because what I need to do is I need to cut the top off because we don't want that growth, but I can keep those lavender heads and do something with them. And just take that larger side shoot off, take all the lower leaves off, and then simply pot it in. Now some people, and I just press around, some people put rooting powder in. My mum never did that. I don't do it, but you can if you choose to. That's entirely up to you. So again, I'm just going to chop the top off because we don't need that. Take off the lower leaves. It's got leaves up here and new leaves coming. We want it to focus its growth on the roots, not on the leaf growth or flower growth or anything like that. And that's all there is to it about taking the hardwood cut. You wouldn't take one with a flower on it. So in the spring, you'd want a nice soft shoot that didn't have a flower on it. This is the smaller one. This was the only smaller one that I could find. So I take it up to that first set of leaves, chop it off if my secateurs are going to do it because that one's quite soft. Take the lower leaves off, pop that in. And that's probably enough in there. And then what I'll do with that is I'll give it a good water and pop it in my polytunnel. So we'll take off the top of this one there, and again the lower leaves. It's not very happy. And pop that in. Last one. And then you can follow me and see if these come on. These are generally an easier plant to propagate, but we'll see. We will have disasters, so we'll see. I'll water those now. Actually, I'll just use this and give them a bit of a water in here. Just make sure that they've had a good water, and then they should start contemplating to root. So we'll take those now. You can come with me and we'll take those down to the polytunnel. Oh, someone's tired. She has been out for a walk, so lie down there. Oh, she's trying to go to sleep, bless her. Good girl. So I'll just walk down to the polytunnel, and I have managed to tidy it up a little bit. You will be impressed. And I'll share you something about my tomato growing for next year as well. So we will pop these up here. So we'll leave those there and I'll keep an eye on those. Got my strawberries there. This is one of my tomato plants. I completely stripped it down of the leaves yesterday because some of the leaves were a bit brown. Let's just give it a feel. The only thing with these is you have to water them all the time. As you can see, I've got some fruit there, which is brilliant. These were quite good. I was quite pleased with these. So tumbling tom thumbs, quite pleased with these. I bought it like this though. So, but it was very leafy. So I've cut them all off and so that it's got a bit of better airflow. So that one seems to be coming on. This one here isn't doing very well. I did accidentally take the top off. This discoloration and the curling is simply because the temperatures have been so drastically different in the day and in the night. So I can't do much about that. All I can do is try my best. Look at this. I'm not sure whether you're a spider person, or whether it'll even be able to focus in on it. So that's a pretty big spider in its web. Right, more tomatoes over here. This one here is doing the same thing. So over here, it's looking unhappy. I've still got more leaves on it, but I think I might just take them off and see what happens. But my most healthy plant, this one, was an offshoot. So next year I have topped it now. So I've taken the top off so that it shouldn't grow anymore and just keep taking the side shoots off. It has got 2 stems. That was an accident on my part, not keeping on top of things. But that one, out of all of them, has grown the best. So next year I'm buying one plant of whatever flavour it is or whatever I want, because my husband doesn't like tomatoes, it's only me. And I will be using the offshoots of that because that's the strongest one I've got. Anyway, back to lavender. So these are the cuttings that I took earlier in the year in the spring, and as you can see, they're very happy. So following on from the other cuttings going in today, we're going to repot these on, and you can see how I'm going to do that. The one thing that I have just remembered looking at these is what I need to do with the others is put some of the grit on the top, and then that will stop the water dispersing from there. So I need to go and do that in a moment. Now I do have some other compost as well, so I will be adding that to this. I'll mix all of this in together. I'll probably save a little bit of that to go on the others. So that's all mixed in, and that's the same as earlier. Now I do have some more down here that I can use. Now this compost that I've got here, because I didn't have that bit, oh, that must have just been left in the bottom. So this here hasn't got grit in it, but it's got perlite in, which allows aeration. So perlite allows the air. I always have to check, so don't worry if you can't remember. Perlite allows the air to get through, and vermiculite holds the water in. So some things like a lot of water. Lavender isn't one of those. So we'll mix all of this in together so that I've got enough, hopefully, to do the plants. So I'll just prepare my, oh, that's a bit smaller one, I think, because I think they're quite big plants. So just pop it in, give it a shake, and we'll have a little look at the root system. Now these ones here look incredibly happy. Just pour that grit over there so that I can save that. Take these out and have a little look. Now as you can see, the root system there is pretty darn good. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm also pleased that they're quite dry, because it's going to be easier to separate them. But that's a good root system. You know, and it's a happy plant, it's flowering. So myself and lots of friends and family will be getting some very healthy plants. I'm just trying to pop that in without disturbing them too much. I don't want to upset them too much. And then pop that in like that. Not going to play around with it too much. And just pop it in. Because when you've got quite a few plants to do, you don't really want to be faffing around. So just make a nice room there for the lovely root ball that's got on it. And look, this one will be away in no time. Just pop some compost around, and there we go. So I'm going to go through now and do these, and then I will meet you at the other side. So there we are, 19 plants, all potted up, all ready to go. And that was from my softwood cuttings in the spring. The success rate was amazing, and I don't profess to be the best at propagation or, you know, potting on or growing plants full stop. But these have come on brilliantly. I only had about 2 die off, so that was brilliant. These won't be going back into the greenhouse now. These have been out waiting to be potted on, so I shall leave them out. I shall give them a water in a moment, and then just leave them to do their thing, and then they will be potted on to different areas next year. I'll leave them in those for this year, and then they should come on and be really happy for next year. So that's all of those potted on. I'm really pleased with that. The others are already obviously setting themselves up in the polytunnel. Hopefully they will have put some growth on within the next 4 weeks, and we'll see what's happening to those and what the success rate is for that. So that's it for me for today. You know, I've done the lavender. I've also talked to you about the tomato plants. It would be great if you could give me some feedback as to what you've thought about the tomato plants, and whether you find that the side shoots are better than the original plants. I don't know. That's definitely what I found this year and last year. But, you know, we'll see moving on. I think that's what I'm going to do. The lavender, definitely do it. You know, that's one plant, and how many plants has it made? Ridiculous amount. I could have bushes and bushes of them if I wanted them. The one thing that I would say with them though is I would probably, if you haven't got free draining soil, is put them in raised beds where you can ensure that the drainage is good. Or like I've put them in a raised bed, but a very small raised bed, so that they're confined, and also, you know, they're not going to be getting as much nutrients. Probably not enough at the moment, but I'll just have to get down there and give them a bit of a water. In the spring, I'll be cutting out all of the dead wood, so that then, you know, the plant can come on reinvigorated later on in the year. That's the best time to do it, because you can see when the new shoots are coming. You can scrape back a bit of the wood and see if it's green or whether it's dead, and then you know for sure what is alive and what is dead. But when you can propagate plants like that, you know, it doesn't really matter if you lose some, because, you know, you've always got some more to come on for not much money. And you know, you just got that first original one that you pay out for, and the rest of it is free, which is what I love. So that's it anyway. So you take care, and I'll catch you next time. I don't really know what I'm doing yet, so it'll be a surprise. I have got one little surprise to tell you, but I'll save that for next time. Take care. Bye bye.